Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started. On WWE Raw, Roman Reigns was one of the hot topics of discussion. It became clear that he was going to have something big coming up. WWE has now announced that the star has shared the news on his own social media. Roman Reigns, since returning, has made it his business to pursue Solo Sikoa and the Bloodline. However, his attempts to make peace with Sikoa fell short, so he was left with no option but to fight them. It appears that Jey Uso is now on his side as well, having joined Jimmy Uso on last week's episode of SmackDown, helping the Motor City Machine Guns to win the WWE Tag Team Championship. Now, WWE has announced that Reigns will team with the Usos at Crown Jewel. Their team will face Solo Sikoa's Bloodline in a 6-man tag match. At this time, it's not clear which of the Bloodline stars won't compete in the match. After the company shared the official announcement following Raw, Roman Reigns also shared it, making it clear that he was ready for the match. He shared the announcement on his Instagram story. Fans will have to wait to see what happens when the two teams clash. Jey Uso shares a photo with Jimmy Uso after their promo on WWE Raw. On this week's edition of WWE Raw, Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso once again crossed paths after their reunion on last week's SmackDown. Taking to his Instagram story, the YEET Masters shared a photo featuring his brother. During the promo, Jey stated that the Usos wouldn't be lackeys for Roman Reigns if they were to reunite the OG Bloodline. The Bloodline quickly entered the scene and engaged in a brawl with the Usos, who managed to deal with Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa. On his Instagram story, Jey shared a photo alongside Jimmy. This was his first activity on social media since WWE announced Reigns and the Usos versus the Bloodline for the Crown Jewel Premium Live event. Jey and Jimmy were on separate paths for over a year. In 2023, Jimmy betrayed his brother and stopped him from beating Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Earlier this year, at WrestleMania XL, the Usos crossed paths in their first ever singles match, with Jey emerging victorious. Jey also won the Intercontinental Championship on the September 23rd episode of Raw before losing it to Braun Breaker in their rematch. Jey Uso will appear on the upcoming edition of WWE SmackDown and will try to fix his issues with Reigns. After an electrifying promo on WWE Raw, Jey Uso took to social media to post a photo that sent fans into a frenzy. The image was simple yet powerful: Jey and Jimmy Uso, standing side by side, both dressed in streetwear with their iconic We the One shirts. Their faces showed the resolve and brotherhood that had been tested and shaken but never fully broken. It was an image of solidarity and a clear message to fans and fellow wrestlers alike. The Usos were bound by blood, and no storyline or faction could change that. The post came hours after their heart-to-heart promo segment. In that promo, Jey and Jimmy stood across from each other, eyes locked, the tension palpable. The promo had all the hallmarks of a reunion that wasn't about shaking hands and hugging it out, but about digging deep, confronting buried pain, and seeking a semblance of understanding. Their shared journey within WWE had been paved with highs and lows, from main eventing WrestleMania to facing each other in battles that left emotional scars. For years, they were more than just brothers or tag team partners. They were halves of a whole, day ones who had risen through the ranks together, proving their worth in every corner of the ring. The promo on Raw was, in many ways, a cathartic experience. Jimmy admitted that he acted out of jealousy, watching as Jey began to step into the spotlight individually. "I thought I was protecting you, Us," Jimmy confessed, his voice barely a whisper, laced with vulnerability. "But maybe I was just protecting myself from the thought that maybe, just maybe, you didn't need me anymore." This admission stunned the WWE Universe and even seemed to catch Jey off guard. The typically stoic Jimmy let down his walls, showing a side of himself that rarely made it to the ring. Jey's response was just as poignant. "We came up together, Jimmy. And when you turned your back on me, that hurt deeper than any punch, any kick, any loss." The camera zoomed in on Jey, his face reflecting a swirl of emotions. "But I get it. Maybe we both got caught up in the game, forgetting who we were without the bloodline." The promo wasn't just about wrestling, it was about brotherhood, trust, and the struggle of finding one's path while wrestling under the weight of familial expectations. The photo Jey posted captured the aftermath of that intense exchange. Standing side by side, the twins exuded a sense of peace, an acknowledgement that they'd survived another storm, and no matter where their paths took them next, they'd always have each other. The caption was short, but it packed a punch, * blood in. Blood out. Day one's forever *. The WWE Universe quickly reacted to the post, with comments flooding in from fans, wrestling legends, and fellow WWE superstars. Rhea Ripley commented with a fire emoji and the word legendary, while Sami Zayn, a longtime friend and adversary, posted, "No matter what, you two are family. Respect." Fans shared their love for the duo, with many admitting that their journey had resonated on a deeply personal level. The Usos aren't just wrestlers. They're family, and they show us that family isn't always easy, but it's always worth fighting for, one fan wrote. In the days following the post, rumors swirled about the future of the Usos. Speculation about whether they would fully reunite, perhaps challenging for the tag team championships once more, buzzed throughout the wrestling world. However, as both Jey and Jimmy had alluded to in their promo, their future wasn't entirely clear-cut. They were no longer the same wide-eyed wrestlers who had debuted together as a tag team. Their paths had diverged, and both were exploring what it meant to stand as individual wrestlers within the WWE's vast landscape. Behind the scenes, WWE executives had taken notice of the impact of Jey's post and their Raw segment. Social media engagement had surged, and fans seemed more invested in the brothers' journey than ever before. There was talk of WWE possibly developing a storyline where the two might have to face each other one last time, not out of animosity but out of a need for closure. A final match to determine not just the better wrestler but the brother who had come further in this journey of self-discovery. For Jey, that journey had taken him to unexpected places. His time in the bloodline had been marked by challenges, betrayals, and the constant pressure to prove himself under the watchful eye of Roman Reigns. Jey had taken the brunt of the tribal chief's wrath, both emotionally and physically, as he was groomed and disciplined to uphold the family's legacy. Stepping out of Reigns' shadow had been Jey's boldest move, one that required him to reevaluate his loyalties and his sense of self. He wasn't just an USO anymore, he was Jey, a man grappling with his identity outside of the family dynamic. Jimmy, meanwhile, had undergone his own transformation. Initially seen as the more rebellious, impulsive twin, Jimmy's unexpected heel turn shocked fans and provided a glimpse into his complex psyche. His admission of jealousy was a revelation, showing the depth of his internal struggle. In a world that celebrates unity and loyalty within families, Jimmy had dared to admit the vulnerability of being human, of feeling threatened by his brother's success. The WWE Universe was invested in their story because it transcended wrestling. It was a tale of sibling rivalry, of love and envy, of ambition and loyalty, and ultimately, of two brothers trying to find their place in a world that constantly put them in each other's shadows. The Usos weren't just a tag team, they were a representation of the unbreakable yet often turbulent bond shared between siblings. As days passed, Jey and Jimmy continued to hint at their future plans, sharing cryptic posts and comments that kept fans guessing. The wrestling community speculated that perhaps the Usos would challenge Roman Reigns in a family feud that could shake the WWE to its core, or maybe they'd reunite as an unstoppable force, this time on their terms. However, amid all the speculation, one thing remained certain: whatever they chose to do, they would face it together. The post and the promo on Raw had reminded fans why the Usos were beloved. Beyond their superkicks and synchronized moves, it was their authenticity that resonated. They were brothers, navigating the highs and lows of their careers and personal lives in front of millions. And as Jey's post reminded everyone, they were bound by blood, forever connected, no matter where their paths led. The image continued to circulate on social media, symbolizing unity, resilience, and the enduring bond that defines family. And for Jey and Jimmy, it was a reminder that despite everything, they would always be day ones. As the latest episode of WWE Raw came to a close, the cameras captured Roman Reigns making his way backstage, visibly affected by the brutal match he had just endured. Fans expected him to head straight to the locker room to recover, but instead, he was seen speaking intently with Paul Heyman and a few WWE officials. Social media exploded with speculation. Was the tribal chief injured, or was something major brewing? Finally, Reigns appeared on WWE's official Instagram Live, surprising fans who had been refreshing the page for updates. With his face still glistening with sweat and a hint of exhaustion, he wore a look of pride and determination. Next to him stood Paul Heyman, his ever-loyal advocate, whose eyes conveyed that whatever Reigns was about to share was monumental. Reigns began, "It's been a long road, and I've faced challenges that most people couldn't dream of handling. But I don't do this for myself. I do this for my family, for the bloodline, and for all of you who have shown me what true loyalty means." A silence filled the digital space as fans watched, spellbound. After a dramatic pause, he continued, "Tonight, I'm here to announce a change, one that will reshape not just my future, but the future of WWE itself." Heyman leaned in, his tone grave. "Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, and I am the special counsel to your tribal chief, Roman Reigns. As of next month, Roman Reigns will take on a unique position within WWE, stepping into an elevated role that no one has held before." The live chat exploded, comments scrolling so fast they were barely legible. The words elevated role left fans scratching their heads and guessing. Was this an announcement of his retirement? Or maybe, like John Cena and The Rock before him, was Reigns planning to leave WWE for Hollywood? But Roman wasn't done. Holding up a hand to steady the anticipation, he clarified, "I'm not going anywhere. You'll still see me in the ring, fighting for the titles, making sure the bloodline continues to rule. But as of today, I'm taking on the role of WWE Enforcer, a position that lets me bring justice not only in my matches but across all of WWE." The chat buzzed with shock. An enforcer role? This was new territory, especially for someone still an active wrestler. Heyman, sensing the audience's curiosity, explained, "Roman will not just compete as the dominant force you know him to be, but he will also be the voice that ensures law and order within the chaos of WWE." Reigns took a deep breath, clearly invested in the gravity of the moment. "I've seen superstars stepping out of line, disrespecting what this company stands for. People have forgotten that WWE is about respect, about loyalty. I intend to remind them. I'll oversee rivalries that go beyond a competitive spirit, and I'll be stepping in when things get out of hand." He went on to list examples, referring to ongoing feuds across WWE. "When someone's out here week after week, disrespecting the ring, disrespecting the fans, I'll be there. If they need a reminder of what honor looks like, the bloodline will stand with me. Together, we will restore balance to WWE." Fans in the chat started tagging their favorite superstars, wondering how they would react to this news. Would Seth Rollins, who was known for bending the rules, be one of the first to face Roman's brand of justice? Or would newer stars, like Dominic Mysterio and his unpredictable behavior, feel the brunt of Reigns' iron fist? Heyman, ever the strategist, couldn't help but tease, "Let me be clear, this is not about Roman using his influence to protect the bloodline. This is about Roman Reigns setting a new standard in WWE. If you cross the line, if you think you're above the code, you'll answer to the tribal chief." Roman's face turned serious as he added, "And don't think I'm exempting my own family from this. If any member of the bloodline steps out of line, they will face me, too. This isn't about favoritism. This is about restoring respect to the ring. This isn't just my kingdom, it's everyone's." A moment of silence followed, with Roman staring into the camera, as if reaching through the screen to directly address the locker room. He ended his announcement with a clear, simple promise, "To anyone in the back who thinks they're untouchable, remember that I'm watching." Remember who runs this. The tribal chief sees all. As the live ended, the WWE Universe was left with 1,000 questions. Who would be the first to face Roman's newfound authority? Would this move redefine the power dynamics within WWE, especially for those who had historically skirted the rules? Across social media, WWE stars began to react. Seth Rollins tweeted a gif of himself laughing, captioned with, "So Roman's the boss now?" Interesting, the Judgment Day's Finn Balor responded more seriously, noting, "So much for freedom around here." Fans speculated how this role would influence Roman's relationships within the ring and outside of it. With his elevated status, could he mend fences with his estranged cousin Jey Uso, who had recently left WWE amidst intense tension? Or would this new role only solidify the divide within the bloodline? The following week on SmackDown, Roman wasted no time in making his presence felt. He opened the show with an in-ring segment, emphasizing that his new authority wasn't about control, but about protecting the sanctity of this sport. Just then, Dominic Mysterio's music hit, and the young heel made his way down to the ring with a mocking smirk. "You really think people are going to listen to you, Roman?" Dominic sneered, clearly testing the waters. "You're nothing but a power-hungry guy pretending to be a leader." In a swift and decisive response, Roman's gaze turned cold. "Dominic, I suggest you tread carefully. If you don't show respect, I'll teach you what it looks like, firsthand." The tension electrified the arena, with the crowd on the edge of their seats. Dominic hesitated, realizing he'd crossed the line, and slowly backed out of the ring. The scene made clear that Roman's new role wasn't just symbolic. He would enforce respect, and he would be the last line of defense when things got out of control. By the end of the show, fans and superstars alike had a clear understanding: Roman Reigns wasn't just the tribal chief of the bloodline anymore. He was, in a way, the tribal chief of WWE, setting a standard of honor and respect. As Roman's music played and the screen faded to black, his words echoed through the minds of everyone watching: "Remember who runs this. The tribal chief sees all."